Hi guys. Okay, so today we're going to talk about how you can repair the saddle seat. So this is the repair that we're going to be doing today. So you can see this little tear you can see in, and there's a couple others that are coming. This is fairly common wear spot that you can get on your saddles. You notice it's coming along on this side too. This is quite an old saddle. Now the first thing we should talk about here is these seat wrinkles. Now, you may have heard that the wrinkles in the seat indicate that the tree is broken, which does happen sometimes, but it's not always the case. So the way you can test for that is you pick it up, put it against your stomach, the other side, and squeeze. Now, if there's a little bit of play in the tree, then you're okay, a little bit. If there's quite a bit of play, if it moves or folds, especially in that spot, or there's a twist, or this side bends more than this side, then you want to get over to your saddle fitter right away and have them check the tree for you, because there is nothing worse than putting a broken tree on your horse. You're going to injure it, and it may even cause long-term damage. The second way that these wrinkles get formed is from riding. I have quite bony seat bones. I tend to sit in the exact same spot in my saddle all the time, and I ride a lot, and so this type of wear happens quite a lot. Now, one thing you can do to mitigate that is with a seat saver. So usually we think of seat savers as being soft for your own seat, but also they can protect the seat of your saddle. So when I started noticing these wear marks a couple of years ago, I did get this seat saver and put it on, and I'm pretty sure that that did extend the longevity of the seat. But wear happens, and eventually you are going to get some tears. Now, the first way that you would like to repair your saddle, if you have a chance, is to take it to your saddle repair person, and they will make it as good as new. So if you ever need your saddle fixed, take it to your saddle repair person first, have them fix it. Now, this particular repair is one of the more difficult ones, and not everybody will replace the seat, and not everybody will find it worth the money to replace the seats. So a little bit of background on how they make a saddle is going to help you understand why this is such an expensive and difficult repair. So when they make a saddle, they start by making the tree, then they put the seat on, then they put the flaps on, and then they put the paddles on, which is why when you have a saddle fitter come out to your barns, they can access the paddles right away, and sometimes they can do the work right there at your barn to fit it to your horse. Especially if you have wool, good quality wool, then they can get in there, fit it to your horse, and they don't have to take it home with them. This particular repair is not like that. In order to repair the seat, they have to take the panels off, they have to take all the flaps off, and then they can access the seat and re-string it. So it becomes quite an expensive repair. So I was quoted years ago about $450 to repair the seat of a saddle, and not everyone will do that for you. Not everyone wants to mess with it, even if they know how to work with saddles. And right now, both the people that I knew that would repair a seat have retired and don't want to do this kind of work anymore. So between that and the fact that it is quite an old saddle, I'm not sure that it's going to be worth it to me to spend all that money and have trouble finding someone, because at this point I would also have to ship it. So that adds another $100 or so to the repair. I'm just going to do it myself with a leather patch for a couch. So you can go on Amazon and get these, and I cut it already to size so that it would fit. I've rounded the corners so that they don't lift up. This is what it looks like when it comes in the mail. It does not come with instructions, but luckily I do know how to do this. So the best thing to do is make sure you know exactly where you want to put it. And so the tear is about yay big. I have my patch extending further past on each side so that it has a good surface. Now, when you're preparing your saddle to repair it with a patch like this, you want to make sure that it's dry and it's not oily and it's not dirty. So this saddle has actually not seen saddle soap or saddle oil for a number of years because it can soften the leather and cause it to weaken even more, which would mean it would degrade even faster. But if you regularly clean your saddle with saddle soap or oil, I would recommend leaving it for at least a couple of weeks and just wipe it off with a damp cloth if you want to get the sweat and dirt off, so that it has a good surface to stick to. The oil is going to make it come off, and the dirt too, and dampness. So okay, so I'm going to make extra careful so I know exactly where I want to put it. And I'm just going to start with a corner, so just get my nail in there and peel off one little corner so that I can do it in piece by piece. And I'm going to make sure that it's nice and straight and square over my damage. And I'm just going to tuck this little corner in and really get it in there with my nail so that it's deep and solid in. And just carefully pull it off. I don't want wrinkles. I think that would be extremely uncomfortable to sit on. It says that they move fairly well with the couch, but I think that there's not going to be quite as much stretch and movement, at least at first, as if I have had like the natural leather of the saddle. So I do want to be really, really careful how I get this on. I don't want wrinkles. So right now, because the only side that's really gone through is this one, I'm going to leave this one and see how it feels. And I think I might even cut this little corner off here, just so that it doesn't get in an awkward spot. So luckily it's not stuck on so tight quite yet that I can't make a few alterations. So maybe not that pretty. I probably should have done that beforehand, but there you go. That's how it works. And so to activate the glue, you want to get in here and just rub it and make sure all the corners are down. And I did not round this little corner, so I'm going to round that right now just a little bit. That helps the edges not come up so much. They don't catch on things as much. And I'm just going to friction over top of it to give it a little bit of heat and activate the glue all the way to the edges. So just be careful that you're not pulling it up when you activate the glue. I'm going to hold this little spot where the wrinkle is and just let it sit for a minute. Now I'm going to try riding in this. I'm going to get another saddle seat cover to go over the top to continue to protect it. This is mainly so that the tear doesn't get bigger. And just a side note is this seat cover is made by Thin Line. It works quite well. It's very low profile. People can't really tell that you're riding in it, in case that's a concern. It's not as soft as a sheepskin. I far prefer the feel of a sheepskin seat saver. And the other thing to note about the Thin Line products is they do have a shelf life. And after a while, they lose their ability to absorb the concussion quite as well. They get a little bit hard and they don't really work that well, which is what I've run into the end of this. So I have to order a new one, put it on there, and hopefully my saddle will feel as good as new. These edges should be thin enough that they shouldn't bother me, and it should start to move and conform to the saddle seat. So let's take a look at that. Okay, so that is the new repair. I'm going to let that sit for about 24 hours before I do anything with it and try and let the glue set up. Hopefully it will. And then see what it feels like to ride it. It should be great. So just one quick note that I'd like to make is that if you show, you might want to email your governing body and ask them permission to make this saddle repair before you go ahead and do it and go to your horse show with it. So if you compete in eventing, you would email USEF. If you compete dressage, you can email USDF. You want to email everybody that you might compete with, get permission, and then when you go to your horse shows, bring that email with you. Have a copy with you so that if an official asks you, you can point to this email and say, yes, I had permission, because there is nothing worse than getting to a horse show and being eliminated for a tack technicality. Thank you for watching. I hope you learned something, and have a great day. Bye.